Okay, so I'm using my J6 crochet hook right here. Do you see that? I'm using my J6 crochet hook, and we're going to be working on the Bavarian Box Stitch. Okay, so we're going to be working, let's see, a chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that's if you don't want a great big hole in the middle. How about I'm going to add a couple more. Let's do 7. We're going to add 7 because I just have my reasons. We can sew it up a little bit later. So if you don't like the hole, we can sew it up later. Okay, I need to mute this in case there comes a point that I get some people watching. Okay, so now I'm going to work a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're working triple crochet. I'm going to be working 5. So we're creating a square. I know it looks kind of funny, but this is round 1. We're creating a square. We're doing, and we're going to be joining them at the top though. So we're going to just go through 2 like this and leave the remaining 2 loops on the hook. So that's 1, 2. So we're wrapping over twice. 3, yarn over twice. 4, yarn over twice, and 5. Just like that. Wrap the yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch to secure, just like that. So this is what we have. It's really pretty. Actually, this is really pretty, just like that. Okay, I need to unwrap just a little bit more. I'm going to unwrap just a little bit more. Okay, and now I'm going to work a chain 3. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and we're working 5 more triple crochet. They're joined at the top. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. 5. Okay, we've got 6 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through all 6 loops. Now we're using a size J6 crochet hook. And so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to slip stitch in here like this. I like using the larger crochet hook because it just works better with this particular stitch. It's kind of like what they call the waffle stitch. The waffle stitch is what I would call a box stitch as well. And so you can call it the waffle box stitch because this is, we're going to be doing the posts. We're going to be working around the posts of what we're making right now. So I'm going to work a 1, 2, 3, and we are going to leave the remaining 2 loops on the hook. We're doing a total of 5, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Yarn over, pull through all the loops. We can chain to secure and then work 3, or you can just work 3. Keep in mind this is going to give you 1 extra one. If it looks like too much, which, yeah, that to me that's too much, so I'm going to just do the chain 3. I'm going to pull out 1 like that, and then I'm going to chain to secure. I'm going to chain to secure right here like this. Okay, so I've got 3 done. 1, 2, 3. We're going to continue, and we're going to do 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We're working on 3, 4, and 5. We've got our 5th one done. Wrap the yarn over, pull through all the loops. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to secure down here. So this is how we're starting off. This actually makes just a pretty flower by itself. We could add one more, make a flower, or butterfly. Butterfly. Animated butterfly. I am seeing an animated butterfly, and I know artificial intelligence is not this good to be able to crochet like this. It's just not. It's not. So I have to get that out there right at the beginning, that AI is not. There's people who want us lying and saying on the internet, Wall Street is actually who wants us lying and telling all of you that AI, they're pushing the AI narrative very, very hard and heavy. Now, I like AI. I think it's fun. But see, Hollywood is pushing it very, very hard. So is Wall Street. Wall Street, TikTok, pushing that narrative really, 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 really hard. And so now my AI just does not work that well all of the time to be pushing that narrative. I'm not incentivized. I'm not paid to push that narrative. And so that's why I'm sharing this with you guys. I'm telling you guys the other side of the dirty industry of what goes on, where they want people, well, they're incentivized to use those words. And they know they are. That's what we call the gig economy out of the, we can call them BRICAs or the sovereign nations. They don't like it when we call them sovereign nations. Because there's Americans lumped in there too. So they don't like it when we call them sovereign nations. They don't like it when we call them Wall Street. So they're very, a bunch of snowflakes is what they are related to this whole gig economy that's the multi-channel networks. They get really, really, really upset. Even the church people get really upset too. So I have to just get that out there right at the beginning. Okay. So what we're going to do here, okay, how am I going to do this? I believe what I need to do, I'm looking at my original instructions. I need to slip stitch up here, I believe, to the center. And so I do have some of my original instructions saved on the internet. And there's a woman from China who's actually saved some of my original crochet videos too. Now, if only Google would turn them over to me, I think that would be great. But right now Google is allowing for a Chinese lady to own my YouTube videos. So I can't even get a hold of my original YouTube videos that a Chinese channel has. I think Google should turn it over to me, actually, because I'm the one who made it, and I can prove who I am. I can still prove it who I am. You know, so legally, I think Google should turn that channel over to me because it looks like it's not being used anymore. I think it's one of those channels, the gig economy channels, where they use the software just to scrape off what people are doing because they can't do this stuff. They have to screen record us doing it, and that's all they have. When they can't do things like this, then they have to steal content from those of us who know how to do this. So that's why I'm doing it right now. For people who genuinely want to learn, not just the internet scrapers and thieves from the sovereign Wall Street thief inflation nations, and the gig economy who is artificially inflating the internet for their own self-serving purposes. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, okay, how many do I have on here? 1, 2, wait a second. Oh, I've got, oh my goodness sakes, I've got a comment. How lovely. How lovely, I've got a comment. Random, how to crochet. Oh no, that's not the one I wanted to go to. I went to the wrong one. My goodness sakes. I got, let me see if I can get in the right place here. Hello? Mirub Wakas. Alrighty. When I see the name Wakas, I just want to scream. I just want to scream. Okay. And so let's go back over here, and you guys can leave some comments and stuff, you know, and I mean, because we're in the midst and thick of this media war going on right now, and I see what's going on, and so okay, howdy for, oh, Alberta, Canada. You know how to crochet and knit too. Okay. Okay, you know how to crochet and knit. I know I've noticed a lot of people, they just talk about it and they don't actually do it. And that's kind of frustrating, I would think, for other folks who... Oh, no, I don't have to... Actually, I don't have to go... I messed up because I can, according to my instructions, I start right here. So, okay, how many was I doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I do 9. So I'm starting here. And I am going to do 9 triple crochet up here. Maybe I should do a chain 1. That's what I should do, is a chain 1. Chain 1. And then I'm going to do 9 triple crochet up here in the corner. It would be helpful if I actually looked like I know what I'm doing. Okay, that's 1. But at least I know I can fake it to look like I know what I'm doing, contrary to some of the other ones on the internet. Oh my goodness sakes. That's number 3. I mean, so I'm fake crocheting right now, in contrast to artificial intelligence, who people are afraid of. So we're at 5. Okay. 6. 7. Okay. 8 and 9. So do you guys call this fake crocheting? Now, you know what the fake crocheting is, don't you? I'll show you in just a second what fake crocheting is. Okay, let's do, yeah, let's do a single crochet. Okay, so there we've got that. Oh, that's really pretty. That would make a pretty butterfly too. Now, fake crocheting is so you're far, far away. You're on a TV show. You've got a big 12-inch swatch, 12, 6 inches, something like that. And you're just sitting there and you're just doing this while you're talking to people. So when you're sitting across the room, this is what we call fake crocheting. Actually, they probably, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they just take the crochet hook and do it like that. So, I mean, you don't even really have to crochet with Legacy Media, because they want to just do everything fake and not do anything that actually is useful for people. And so, okay, so we're going to go up here and we're going to work 9 triple crochet. Okay, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, we got 9 right here. Now I'm going to work a single crochet right in here. Right in here, we're going to work a single crochet. Okay, so we've got 2 of them done. I think I've made butterflies this way too. Actually, right here, if you wanted to stop, make a butterfly. Perfect butterfly right there. Do you see that? Perfect butterfly. Oh, thank you for liking my video. Do not tell people your age. No, they're lying about their age. If they're, see, the thing is like whatever they're doing, they're lying about their age. And so you've got old men who are on here who are saying they're children and they're 10 years old. So they're lying about their age is what they're doing. So you can't even believe anything that they write in the comments because they're just telling big lies. They're paid to lie. Um, yes, I know you're lying, Wackus. You're not the first Wackus I've seen, whatever the hell that is. Whatever a Wackus is. Um, I know you guys are lying. Because the thing that you're doing doesn't make any sense, because what you're wanting people to go back to watching TV and listening to crappy music, and nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do it. And the more you do things to be selfish for your own self, the more that people don't want to even talk to you. That's what's going on in TikTok right now. And so you're destroying TikTok. Whoever's doing that, you're completely destroying TikTok. Um, TikTok, yeah, it's big, but you know what? They did the same thing to YouTube as well. YouTube, Facebook, they bring their goons in, their goon squad. You bring the goon squad in, which is legacy media and Hollywood and Wall Street, and you're shitty to people. Unfortunately, you're mean. And I mean, I have nothing nice to say about any of you, because you don't want to have a real conversation with people. You could, but you don't. No, I don't know who that bitch is. Did you name your dog that? I have no idea who that person is. Okay, we're at 6. 7. Should we talk about human trafficking in India, where the sovereign nations are pimping and whoring out the women from the sovereign nations inside of the United States? Maybe we should talk about that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's my favorite character from Stranger? What's Stranger? I don't know what you mean by Stranger. What does Stranger mean? I don't even know what that is. I don't know what the characters are that you're talking about. Oh, Stranger Things. Is that like some gaming? You guys are gaming is what you are. You're the gaming networks is what I'm hearing right now. So the gaming networks are failing. The gaming networks are failing. We already know that. The gaming networks, and some of them were on Wall Street. Did you know there was one called Full Screen? Full Screen, I believe, has failed. So I think Full Screen, I don't know if they went on Wall Street or they tried to. Was it Full Screen or Broadband? And so one of them had approached me at the beginning of my YouTube journey, and had wanted me to join them. And so, the sad part about the gaming networks is they want to destroy the rest of us because their business model does not work. If you like crochet, then you should write crochet all day long. Just write crochet all day long. I like crochet. I like to crochet all day long. I like to crochet all day long. That's what you can do. And so that's what they wanted to do is, they did that to us on Facebook, because they came into Facebook, and they did. TikTok is an excellent example. No, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in Christianity. I'm a non-believer. I'm a non-believer because what I believe in is human beings. I need to do 4 more of these. I believe in human beings, and see, I don't like Sharia law at all, because I don't like the Islam nations. I don't like the sovereign nations. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I don't like the sovereign nations because of the fact that they're exploiting people, and they're exploiting people in the United States as well. And they're really mean. They have nothing nice to say. And so, why are you exploiting your children? Are you India? You sound like sovereign nation India. So, like, you're exploiting your kids? Because that's what you guys are doing, is you're selling your kids on the internet to these multi-channel networks, and you're actually selling them. I've seen them over in India. This is really pretty. Look at that. Looks like a butterfly. And so, yeah, I know you're Muslim. I can tell by your name. It's not the first time I've seen a Wakas in here, and I recognize the voices, unfortunately, on the internet as well. And it's like when I hear you guys speak, it's like I just want to. I have nothing nice to say about the India, Pakistan, nothing at all, because it's the sovereign citizenship movement, and Wall Street is funding it, and you guys want to believe what the money people are telling you, and then you're pulled into court, and when you go into court, it turns out that I'm right, and the judges are telling you guys that you have to leave. So this is what you're doing. So you're allowing yourself to be in the slave trades of Wall Street for $15,000 to $20,000 a month. They're laundering that money through those big mansions. And then you guys are participating in it. Some of you are living in those houses. I do know how to crochet granny squares. Actually, this could be a granny square right now. Let me see what I need to go up here. Eventually I need to start doing let's see, what part do I need to do? Okay, so this next one, I need to do the box part. So I need to slip stitch, or I could start it in the center. I know I want to work my way up here to the top. I don't know why I'm stuck in India, but I am. A lot of people are stuck in India. 1, 2, 3. And, so the thing is, I'm indigenous to this planet. And so people from India need to smarten their brains up quite a bit and understand and learn what indigenous is. It's not a country. Indigenous means native to the planet. And people even in the United States need to learn this little concept too. Because it's like, I'm tired of being told that I'm not something, I'm tired of being told that I am something that I'm not, and that I'm not something that I am, so now what I'm going to do here is we're going to go from the back to the front, around to the back of the post, and we're going to work it like this. We're going to do 3. So I've got 1, and then, so this is going to make the box part. It's going to make I called it the lip, but it's a box part. And if I screw up royally, I should be able to come out of it too, if I screw up royally. So I'm just faking this stitch. I'm not really doing it. Okay, so I'm going to slip stitch down here like this. Now what I need to do, I believe, is the chain 3. Okay, so I'm following my instructions, and so I'm going to work down here. 1, 2, and 3. There should be do we have a third one, or what? Where did I miss my third one at? Okay, let's work around this one. We'll do that. 3. Okay. And then I'm going to work around the single crochet like this. If I end up with too many, it's just going to work out. 1. Okay, I'm not sure how many stitches I'm going to end up with. It looks like 2. And then, okay, so a third one up here. like that. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through all the stitches like this. So you see we've got our boxy part right there. That's the part we're calling the box stitch. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. And now what I'm going to do, I need to reserve these 3 here in the center. I'm going to work a slip stitch right here. And I'm going to chain 3 like this. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3 up here like this, and yarn over, pull through all the loops, 1, 2, 3, and then, okay, where did I lose my 3rd stitch at? Or did I miss right here? I missed this stitch. Okay, let's start over again on that one, because I want to pick up this. Okay, which right here, you right here are the one that is elusive. Okay, 1, 2, and 3 right here like this, and yarn over, pull through 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to work a slip stitch around here. That's probably going to give us a little bit of a space, which that's okay. We're going to end up with spaces. We have to end up with spaces. So this is what we've got right now. So we've got this little boxy raised effect right here. Do you see that little boxy raised effect? Let me put on, well, I guess I can't find all comments right now on my mobile phone. Hello, hello, Maroob. You're actually not my first subscriber. You're not my first subscriber. Okay, thank you for loving my crochet. It would be nice to have someone who actually loves crochet. Because I sense a lot of disingenuous taking place. Who hired you? Did Bill Gates hire you, or Mark Zuckerberg? Which one of the clown car hired you? I mean, you guys are paid to leave comments. That's what you keep telling us, that you're paid. Write that in the comments section. You're paid to leave comments on videos, correct? I think I'd like for you to write that in the comments section, that you're paid to leave comments on YouTube videos, because that's what you guys tell me on Discord and in emails. Now, I haven't had Discord in quite some time, but Discord, it's more good than mobile. So yeah, but I need you to write and tell me that you're paid to leave comments on videos, because I'm positive that I know you guys are paid to leave comments on videos, because when you're selling those websites that sell views and stuff like that, that's someone from India or somewhere, or someone in the United States exploiting other people with human trafficking. And Wall Street is participating in that too. And the networks, so, I mean, can you write that and elaborate that you guys are paid to leave comments on YouTube videos? Because I know you are. And Facebook too. I never understood why anybody would want to buy Facebook views and comments and engagement, because I never made money. And so that always confused me when someone says buy comments and likes for Facebook. It's like, no thank you. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested in that. But it seems like Wall Street doesn't mind, because their websites get engagement. Like, for example, Oracle. Oh, you're still here. Moon Rosecraft. Well, who is Moon Rosecraft? Because there's only one person who who you know, and it's not anybody from India that I would be, you know, there's only one person that he's got to sense how pissed off I am right now. If he is who, you know, the sensibility. I've never heard of Moon's Rosecraft before. I don't know who Moon's Rosecraft is. I mean, because we have these people who are playing fake artificial intelligence. And I think it comes out of the networks. Okay, you love my pink color butterfly or granny square? Yes, this one's pink and green. I mean, you know, you can see it's pink and green, right? Okay, so we're going to chain 3. So all the other people, apparently all the other crochet people were part of marketing networks. That's what I'm learning. They were all part of marketing networks. They were all part of that other thing. Okay, so now I need to do, okay, 1, okay, 2, and I think even pastors too. There's a lot of pastors who are part of those marketing networks. So they're the people who are paranoid that they're going to lose their YouTube channels for some reason. And I still hear them all the time. They're like, well, I need your email and your phone number. And it's like, no, if you're asking for that, you're a scammer. When someone asks you for your personal information, they're trying to scam you out of something. So that's the first thing that you should think about is scam. When someone asks you for your personal information, that's the thing you should think is scam. They're scamming you by asking for your personal information. And so when they say, well, I need to have this for a backup account. When you hear backup account, it's like, well, what are you doing wrong? You must be doing something wrong. Are you harassing little girls? Are you asking for personal information, which you're not supposed to be? Because that's a scam. And that's going to get you to the place of losing your account. Are you asking for likes and engagement? That's going to get a red flag somewhere down the line. That's what I've learned. You know, just through, all we have to do is visit the YouTube help forum. I hate scammers too with a passion. And the ones from India are some of the biggest scammers in the world. Elon Musk is a huge, huge scammer. He's a nasty, filthy piece of pig shit. Elon Musk is nasty, filthy pig shit. So I have nothing nice to say. Just like my ex-husband is a nasty, filthy pig shit. And you guys are welcome to say that too. Because I've been sharing little tidbits of how nasty, filthy pig shit. He has a Sharia law. I know people don't understand what I talk about, but what I say when I say that as a sovereign citizen, Sharia law mentality, you do have videos. Someone called the phone. Yeah, do not put your phone number up. Do not post a phone number. I'm telling you that right now. Do not post any personal information at all. Because that's going to get you flagged by the algorithm. Look at how pretty that is. This is a granny square actually, and it's kind of what people talked about when they asked how to make a straight edge, and that's really what we're working on is a granny square too. The box stitch and the box square. These are actually prettier than my original ones that I did years and years ago, and I struggled to do them, and it's like now I just do them with ease. Well, I was kind of doing them with ease back then. I was too hard on myself, let's put it that way. I just think I was too hard on myself. 1, 2, 3. Now we're working on the corner. And I still have some of my instructions that I made in Photoshop. I have them saved on Pinterest. That's the fun thing. I'm glad I saved my Pinterest. And I did. I saved my Pinterest and I struggled through that. But see, my Pinterest wasn't that optimized that well. And so that's why I kept Pinterest. Because it wasn't that optimized. And so I was able to change it. I don't know how, I'm wondering if I have, let me see. I'm wondering if, I don't even know if I have followers on Pinterest. I might, but, yeah, and I find it funny when I come on YouTube, the people who are her jaw jacking on TikTok, they're like, "Oh, you're on my panel now. You're gonna abide by my rules." When I hear that, you know what I do? I just block them. That's all I do. I just block them because it's like I don't want to go on a toxic panel like that. I just hit. It's like, okay, we have millions and millions and millions of other people now, millions of people around the world. And, so there's plenty of crochet people who are doing the same thing because a lot of crochet people have been bullied. And a lot of crochet people have been bullied by the the music industry, by that nasty, 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 stinky music industry out of Atlanta. A lot of crochet people have been bullied by them. And I see it. I see it on TikTok too. And there's a lot of people who agree with me. They're finally admitting that what I already knew is it's gotten worse than what it was, and I get so tired of hearing these stinky, stanky little men from India, these 22-year-old boys. They're not even men, they're just boys. Oh, we've got to come together in America and we've got to agree on this. It's like, no, you get your Sharia law, skanky-ass terrorist self back to your own country. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you. Stop talking to me. So that's where I am with India. I hate India. Ramen, the ramen noodles, you're talking about ramen noodles from the store. And so I don't do church. I don't do church at all. Because church is the root of all evil right now. Church is an indoctrination and should be banned. Now, a lot of people get really upset when I say it should be banned. Now, the thing is, I don't mean that in the sense of under freedom of speech, because we do have freedom of speech, and that's where church falls, is under freedom of speech, under the First Amendment. What I say is the practices of where they do it at, because each individual person, so you see my hand individually, I'm an individual person of a church. We don't need a building to have a church. So that's my philosophy. You can still have church inside your mind by yourself. That's my thought on it. You can have church inside your own brain by your own little old self. That's my interpretation of Jesus and the book. And we don't need a book to tell us what to do at all. We do not need any book at all telling us how we should think, how we should believe. We can be good by ourselves. And if you can't be good by yourself, you belong in a prison. If you decide to get old and you're going to physically abuse your wife, you need to be in a prison the rest of your life, as far as I'm concerned. I have changed my mind. I have changed my mind about prisoners. I have no compassion or empathy for prisoners. I used to at one time, but not anymore. Okay, what did I do with there's my instructions. Because the prisoners, when they get out, all they want to talk about is God. And so that's all they want to talk about. I don't want to hear from the prisoners because all they're talking about is God. And they have no concept of wanting to talk about anything else related to making a comparison to what we see in real life. Related to the earth. And so, well, that's good that you respect other people. I don't have to respect anything, and that's the thing about respect is you don't need to tell me that I need to respect anything. If you're using the word respect, you can say, okay, I respect the color pink. I respect the color green. You can use the word retrospect. In retrospect is, that's a form of respect, is retrospect. Is, to me, in retrospect, is kind of reflecting back on something. And so, cultures, festivals, and traditions. I don't have a problem with cultures, festivals, and traditions at all. It's something that people did. And most people have cultures, festivals, and traditions. But you know what the problem is? People start arguing over the words of what the culture, festival, and tradition is. It's like, okay, well, if you're going to argue about it, I don't want to participate in your culture, festival, or tradition. That's the same thing with church. I don't want to participate in it because it becomes a negative source for me. And this is why people fled Europe. They fled Europe because of Hitler. He was killing people, and they wanted to get away from Hitler. And this was the white people, the Jews. You can't look at a person and tell if they're white or Jewish. Because I look at me and I see brown, I see tan and brown, and so, and you don't get to tell me that I can't call myself tan, brown, or colored, or whatever I want to call myself. I can call myself whatever I want to call myself. You don't get to tell me that. You can keep that thought to yourself, because those of you over in the sovereign nations, you don't get to tell me this. You don't get to tell me what I think. And I'm going to tell you what I think. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over on TikTok later on, and I'm going to keep telling you what I think, and I'm going to interrupt you just like you want to interrupt everybody else, because you know what? You have no respect for women. This is what I've learned about the sovereign nations out of Saudi Arabia, out of the Middle East, out of Iraq, Iran. You people have zero respect for women. And this might even fall into Central America and down there in Brazil. You have no respect for women. You only want to think about yourself. You're evil people, and you need to get over it. If you can't have respect for women, you're a crappy person. And so I don't know what your festival thing is you want to detract from, and that's what you're doing, is you're wanting to talk about festivals for some reason, to detract from the fact that you're a shitty person. So that's how I feel about the sovereign nations over in the Middle East. And that's how I feel about Brazil, Russia, India, China, Africa, and South America. And I'm not too sure about China anymore, because I'm not sure why we're mad at China sometimes, other than the fact that I know they had the Tiananmen Square incident, and Mao Zedong was a dictator. That's a fact. He was doing some nasty things. And so all nations have had nasty presidents. I raised this issue with someone on TikTok earlier today about Herbert Hoover, because they were talking about genocide. And I said, well, you know what? During the Great Depression, we could consider the famine that took place in that time. We could consider that genocide. And they're like, oh no. Now they don't want to call what goes on in the United States genocide under Herbert Hoover. Now Herbert Hoover was a president from Iowa, I believe, West Bend, Iowa. And so that was at the time of the Great Depression, when people didn't have food. And so what happened was everybody came over from other countries to the United States, and the United States lacked the means to be able to feed all these people. The food supply and the food chain didn't exist. So then this meant that people who were coming from other countries to the United States starved to death. But not only that, then we also had the wars that went place with the native indigenous as well, the Great Spirit Lake Massacre. And so there was a lot going on that led up to the Great Depression that took place. And Wall Street is a problem. It's not just Wall Street, but yeah, I mean, because we do need capitalism. We can actually have an economy and capitalism without Wall Street. We would still have that. And I wish more people would think about that we do. We have an economy and capitalism without Wall Street. But nobody wants to think about that part. I don't know why. Is it too much to think about? I don't know. Okay, so this one, okay, this next one I'm doing in the center here. 1, we're just doing 6 right here on this one. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going through here like this, and well, maybe what I need to do is, yeah, that'll work. I'm going to go around here like this. I'm going to go through here like this. Okay, let me see. Let me go back over here. Thank you for subscribing. Well, you can get your other people to subscribe. I mean, the thing is it's like we're going to be having these conversations and discussions up until they get solved. I don't know how quickly they're going to get solved because it seems like there's too many people who don't want to solve these problems. And we know what the who is causing it. But who's causing it doesn't want to solve the problem. They just want to keep stirring the pot because they're rich, they have lots of money, and you know. Okay, so we're going to keep going around here. We're doing 9 on the points. On these points we're doing 9, and that's for the increase. That's number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I'm working a single crochet. So did you go through the carousel? That's what you did. You went through the carousel, right, Meebus? Meebus, you went through the carousel, and then you came back. I know, I do the same thing too. Now on TikTok, I am actually in a restricted account, and I'm not sure. Well, I think I'm sure, I know why, because if I wasn't in a restricted account, then I'm just coming across all this toxic stuff that I can't handle, because it's full of people who are shaming me for being abused. That's what they're doing. They're telling me it's my fault, and it's like, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to listen to that from the sovereign nations out of Wall Street and other countries, blaming me for being abused because they're hiding behind a computer screen. And some of them, unfortunately, are United States citizens doing it too. Even some of them from Canada. And, you know, and it's like, there's one guy specifically, the one that goes by Ass Bastard. Now, he's not using that anymore, but I recognize his voice. He's still on there. And so I recognize Goon. Oh, you're going to go leave? Okay, go leave. And so I recognize Goon. He went by Go On and Ass Bastard, and now he goes by a whole bunch of different other names. And I still hear his voice on there. And he's a jerk. He thinks he's funny. He just says things like, oh, I'm doing this for my entertainment purposes. It's like, okay, well, you're well. He was pretending to be a 1800 time frame sovereign citizen today on a panel where he was pretending to be peaceful. And But then when I bring up Wall Street, oh my gosh, they get so angry. They get very, very angry. So I had separated, and I was talking about the sovereign nations, and so I said, okay, well, let me give the 1800 sovereign nations the benefit of the doubt. They were coming from foreign countries. But I said, modern day sovereign nations, I said, we have Wall Street. And I explained to them what was going on. The more I explain it, the more that I tell them about their self. I'm actually making a crochet square here. Do you see that? It's the Bavarian Box Stitch is what I'm working on. So do you see we've got these little raised edges here? I'm working on the Bavarian crochet. See how boxy it is here? Because we're working on the front post. We're working on, do you see it right there? There you should be able to get it. It's a raised. So I created the front post. Front post triple crochet is what I'm working on. That's what I'm using as the front post triple crochet. And so, yeah, I recognize AB from 2024. His voice is just, I mean, it's like this man is toxic, nasty. And there's another one on there too. He's a Wall Street guy actually, and I was talking to him in the morning, and he's a Canadian. I believe he's Canadian, and he goes by an indigenous type of a moniker of sorts. And my gosh, that man is nasty. When I start talking about Wall Street, well, he actually blocked me last week when I was talking about Wall Street. So I get blocked all the time for talking negative about Wall Street. He's like, I don't want to listen to it. I can't handle it. So they're benefiting from Wall Street. Oh, you're female. So they're literally benefiting from Wall Street through the real estate trust planning. They're part of Hollywood, and then they hide behind the sovereign citizen movement, which, you know, the FBI, I agree with their definition of it, because the thing is, the people individually are come across as peaceful. Individually, the people come across as peaceful, and I think they know what's going on. They have to. And so then the court system calls them into court then, and then, but they're not on the paperwork. And then the court system, what they do then is they raise the price of the rent higher. And so the court system, and so they raise the rent higher, and then they end up getting kicked out of their, where they're staying at, you know, because they're in those great big mansions. And so now the mansions, I believe, must all be empty by now. And I've seen that, you know, they're building houses. There's other people, family members, who have seen the same thing happening where they were at, where they built a whole bunch of houses and they're just all sitting empty. Houses and apartments all sitting empty because nobody can afford to buy them. So that means they're sitting empty, and they can launder money through them. See, look at that. And so do we want to keep calling me crazy and telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about, and that I'm insane, and that I have a mental, you know, they try pulling that stuff on TikTok all the time, telling me that I have a mental illness. And you know what? When I hear that, I just block them on TikTok. And you know, this is what they don't understand. It works both ways. If you're going to do it to me, it's going to take place to you too. And they don't understand. They're like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? When you know, they're like, oh, if you keep talking this way, I'm going to kick you off the panel and block you. It's like, well, you know what? Go ahead and kick me off your panel, because over there on TikTok, I'm going to block you too. And I'm going to train the algorithm so you don't come up and you lose your business on TikTok. That's what's going to happen. This is what's happening with what's taking place on the internet. Because you know what? They did that to us on YouTube already. They already did that and destroyed YouTube content creators. Now they're doing the same thing to TikTok, which I don't care. I actually don't care, because the thing is, if you have 100,000 people who are actually doing what I just described, if you have 100,000 people, you can actually hurt their business the same way you hurt us on TikTok, on YouTube. So we know how it's done. We already know how it's done. And so why do I don't care about TikTok being successful. I hope it fails. I hope it fails, and it will. Because I'm not, and there's people who get really, really, really angry when we go over to TikTok, and you know what? Today, this morning, they were mad. They're like, hearts, thumbs up, we want some galaxies. And it's like they're mad because they're not getting any hearts. They're not getting any engagement at all. They're mad because they're not getting any engagement. And it's like, well, why should I engage on something? I'm not getting any benefit out of it. And they don't understand. I say, you know what? We're in Wall Street. We're inside of TikTok. We're inside of Oracle. Oracle takes a hands-off role. They don't care about TikTok. They don't care what goes on. They just want to make money from it. That's all Oracle cares about. And it's like, I called up Oracle and I left some feedback and a message, and the person who took the message, they said Oracle doesn't care about TikTok. So that's what I heard from Oracle's feedback line, was they don't care what goes on TikTok. They just bought the company. They're going to make some money from it while they're holding it. So Oracle is a holdings. So that's what Oracle is holdings. So they're holding TikTok right now. And that's what they're calling these mutual funds. They're holdings companies. So they're just holding, hoping that they make some money from it in the meantime, hoping that some institutional investor comes along, puts some money in it. They might make money, they might not make money, but they've got billions and trillions of dollars. They don't care if they make money or not. Even if they lose money, there's still little perks and benefits that they get, even if they lose money in their holdings. But you guys can keep on calling me an idiot and telling me I'm stupid and dumb, and I'm going to keep explaining how Wall Street works for some people, but not everyone. And then I get yelled at by Wall Street on TikTok. That's what happens. And see, that's what Elizabeth Warren was met with. Same thing. People get mad at her. So people who talk about Wall Street and explain what's going on. But, you know, she's still a politician, though. Elizabeth Warren is still a politician. They ran her for president. Now, I think the only reason she didn't win, she was a good thing to run, though, because of the fact that Elizabeth Warren was good to run as a female, just to get a female in there. I mean, you know, she was an alternative. And so it just proved that we have foreign interference. The men from India don't want the United States to have a female president. That's what's going on here. Men from India don't want, and they're influencing. That's what I see we have going on here in my comment section from Wakas, who is from India, and who is pretending that he likes me and saying that he's a child all the same. Maybe I should block him. Maybe that's what I should do, is block him, because I believe he said he was 10 years old. So I just need to, let's see. I can't really report him. There's nothing I can report on. So if I remove him, you know, I don't really want to remove him or put him in timeout. You know, I mean, I don't really see anything that's productive to do, other than I have to listen to this bullshit, and, you know, knowing that they're from India. They may or may not be inside of the United States. I'm not positive because I can't tell. Now, if Google gave us a little tool, they would be able to tell us if they're inside of the United States or in another country. I think that would be pretty cool if Google gave us a tool to know where people are commenting from. So it could just be regionally, as like it would say India, United States, Pakistan, and then we would have a little, so it could be something under the moderation, under the channel activity that we see. Not channel activity, under, yeah, when we're in the live stream, where we have that little thing where you can put someone in timeout, hide user on the channel, add as a, if we had the way to be able to see which part they're regionally chatting from, then we would know if they're from the United States or from another country. Because the ones from the other countries are a bunch of men who are mean to women, and they're mean to women on the internet. And this is something that people need to understand. Thankfully, I've been hearing things from males, and I've tried really hard to avoid usage of the BW, the racial words that people use, like Disney uses, like Michael Jackson used with his song B and W, because it's like, well, I'm choosing for the most part to not use it because it does become volatile. But what I've heard is some of these men, and I think they might be out of the rap industry, they have come across people from Africa. They've heard being very nasty, and they're finally learning that it's not people in the United States doing it. It's people from foreign nations who are doing it, who are speaking all this nasty hatred, and so they've been blaming the wrong people. I'm curious to hear if there's going to come a point. I don't expect anybody to apologize. They didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. I don't expect an apology. The thing I've always said is all this stuff took place before all of us were born. Why are people mad at something that took place before we were born? Where I would rather talk about Wall Street and the problem that Wall Street has, but yet I'm met with. Now we're going to have a couple of different scenarios with this because of the fact that the people who are benefiting from Wall Street, like my second ex-husband, he has a man-baby meltdown because you're messing with his money now. You're messing with his paper. Now, people who don't have any paper coming in, who are unpaid, they don't care. They're going to talk about it. We figured it out. We know what's going on. We're going to talk about it. So if men want to get involved in a positive way that actually helps the country, talk about the negative things that have happened with Wall Street. If you've lost money, don't be afraid to share that you've lost money. I've lost a lot of money. I lost money being married because I put money from my original YouTube channel into a house, and the judge in my county awarded the house to my ex-husband, who was physically abusive to me. Why did the judge do that? I guess because my husband had money. So he sucked the judge's dick and got some kind of benefit from sucking the judge's dick, to be able to treat me. Now I'm the victim. He was physically violent to me. And that's why I said, if you come into this state, the state that I live in, I'm going to say the state of Georgia, they approve of physical violence. That's all I hear is the men who are running things in the state of Georgia, especially in travel and tourism areas, they approve of physical violence. So when you're going to make a woman homeless and you're going to favor the man over and over again and you're going to favor inflation, you're a big dick sucker. And you won't even challenge the status quo being a judge. It's like, well, the hell with you federal judges, because then you're on the side of inflation. I mean, I can't imagine all federal judges would be that way, because it's like you have to know that the Bitcoin and my little thing that I did this morning, I made this thing and I said, should lawyers just be able to add on a courtesy fee of $250, like a Bitcoin courtesy fee or a swipe fee of some sort, and just add on a bunch of extra money just because they can? That's basically what it amounts to me. And so you're assessing it on people who don't even have incomes. I don't even have an income now because the mayor across town decided to dox me and be fucking shitty. So I lost my income. And so the thing is, it's like, well, then Hollywood sues for defamation. E. Jean Carroll gets like, what was it, like $106 million? $106 million. What do YouTubers get? Nothing. Nothing. Where's my personal injury lawyer? Where's my defamation lawyer? Where's the money for me and the recovery for me, even just in a marriage that was physically violent to me? Well, clearly with the president we got, he claims immunity. So he says he can go out and just kill someone. He can kill anybody he wants to and get away with it. You know, I mean, he can pick up a gun. He can pick up a machine gun and just murder all of his staff. I mean, that's what I hear. And, you know, I'm saying what I want to say because it's my YouTube channel, and if you don't like it, you can leave. Saying what the hell I want to say. I'm not doing things under TikTok. TikTok is full of fucking shit. And they're actively censoring over there too. It's like, oh, well, we can't say the word murder. We have to say schmurder. We can't say the word sex. We have to say schmex. It's like, well, go fuck yourself, religious people. And I think that's why the Mormons last night, I think that's why they got a warning. Because this is what they did. I need to take a drink first and I'll tell you what they did. So I was listening to them. So I think the other moderators who are listening to the conversation must have heard something wrong. And I think what they heard was, I was having this conversation with the Mormons, and they're like, well, why don't you come on over? Why don't you come on over? So what I did was I said, well, are you guys familiar with the Shaytards? And they're like, yeah, I've got his phone number. I can give it to you. And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to them. So they're utilizing the Mormon traditional, they call them the traditional, non-traditional or traditional wives or whatever. The trad wives, the trad spouses, who they claim are staying home and taking care of their kids while they're recording them on the internet. And they're paid really, really well, probably making $200,000 a year because they've participated with Wall Street. And so what this guy did was he made a big fatal error, I believe. And he said, you know, because I was having a fun conversation about, you know, Mormon, and they're like, well, do you know who Joseph Smith is? And I said, well, yeah, he's the founder of Mormonism, isn't he? And it looked to me like, I think it was the mid 1800s at some point is when Joseph Smith founded the Mormon Church. So they're the Scientology. So Scientology is sort of an upgraded version from the traditional Christianity. So they go in another direction. So the Mormon Church literally will approve of people comparing the Bible and scriptures and things to the planet Earth. That's what happens. And so I think that what happened though was they heard the preaching. They're like, well, yeah, give me your phone number. I'll give you his phone number. And it's like, I said, no, I don't want anybody's phone number. I said, no, I don't want that. And so then maybe it was about 2 or 3 minutes later, there was a warning on the account, on his account, and he had to shut it down because he got 2 big warnings. And I'm sitting there, what happened? And he said the same thing. He's like, what did she say? What did we say? We didn't say anything wrong. We didn't. Because I told him, I said, I'm going to use your appropriate TikTok language if that's what you have for this stream. See, not all streams will trigger a warning, which is kind of interesting because I can go on some of the military streams. I can say a lot of things. I can use the word murder. I can use the word sex. Nothing happens. But when I go on some of these church ones who are actively censoring, then there's some things that happen, and I have to suspect that it had something to do with the mentioning of the phone number thing, because I'm on a restricted account, which could be similar to a child's account right now. That's what I opted for right now. I chose that account because my brain just goes in overload when they do a lot of this hardcore hardcore fighting and stuff on those panels, then I just keep end up getting traumatized over and over again. And here I am talking about it because it's there every day. So something where people were just doing things that they were just doing instead of doing it for the money and then doing it for the views now. So religion and politics is what they're doing for the views now. Everybody's talking about religion and politics, and they're using the fighting panels, the toxic fighting panels. I can't handle that right now. I just can't, because then I end up getting traumatized. But yet here I am talking about it because it's in my brain now. And so a lot of them. I actually found Kane last night, though. I liked him, though. Kane was a nice guy. He said he's an atheist. He and I agree on everything. We still do. And so I talked to Kane 2 years ago in 2024, and under a different account. I was using Premium Rose Star at the time when I was talking to Kane. Now, Kane didn't recognize my voice because he talks to so many people. That's probably why. He didn't recognize me at all. And so there was a point, though, when I changed my name. I was changing it once every 7 days or so. And then one guy is like, oh, you changed your name. Why are you changing your name? And it's like, well, because I really don't want to come up. I don't want to brand myself in the search engine optimization. So I started changing my name. Because of everything that happened. And they're like, well, what are you talking about? You're crazy. When I talk about doxing and swatting, they don't want to understand that. They know they did it. They know they participated in it. They know they're participating in these bad behaviors out of the gaming communities. That's what they're doing. So the thing is, it's like, well, if you have to allow for children to be on the internet to bully adults, so then you've got children who are monetizing their gaming channels. They're just playing games. That's all they're doing, is playing games. They're monetizing their channels. So when they get beat by someone, then they get angry and upset because they lost a game or something, or some old lady has more views than what they have. And that makes a child mad. So that means that means children should not have, people under the age of 18 should not be on the internet having subscribers or channels. Now TikTok has gone as far as to say kids under 18 should not be on TikTok, even though there's ones who say they're under 18 on TikTok. And so when someone says they're under 18 here, or they're like, oh, I'm a kid, it's like, well, okay, I can remove you if you're going to say you're a kid, but it's my channel and I have it set for adults. Right now my channel is set for adults. It's not set for kids. So if you're going to sit there and spout that you're a kid, you're not going to get anywhere with that. You're not going to get anywhere with that very far at all, because my channel is set for adults only. So I don't know what you're trying to do by continuing to say that you're a kid. You're a liar is what you are, and you're a perverted fucking old man who is, I think, actively exploiting children on the internet. You're human trafficking, and maybe the court system needs to find out where you're located at and call you into court. If that's what you're doing. I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Because you're an old pervert piece of shit. I have nothing nice to say about the practices that a lot of them are doing on the internet, because that's what they're doing. They're trafficking. I see it. They're using kids. They're using kids' accounts, and so they have kids following these grown men, and then the grown men then will get the kids to follow them over to. They'll be like, well, go to my Discord. Go to my Discord. Go to my Discord. It's like, well, they're using the kids to artificially inflate views to their various accounts is what they're doing. I see it happening all the time, because I've had people tell me that, oh, on TikTok they tell me to go to Lemon 8. It's like, what? Why? What's the point? I'm not paid to go from one app to another app. But in the meantime, they're using kids to do that. They've got a whole bunch of kids from foreign countries, foreign nations. They're probably paying. They're being exploited, and they're using their multi-channel networks in the gig economy to get the kids to go from TikTok over to Lemonade, or from YouTube over to Discord. That's what they're doing. So it continues. And it's coming out of the gaming networks right now. And some of it's protesting too. Some of the protesting they're doing. Now, I saw some nice ways of protesting on YouTube over the weekend. They had some ICE protests that were taking place. Now, they had a whole bunch of kids behind gates. So they had these fences. So there was a fence in the front, a fence in the back. And I think I'd made suggestions about that before. I said, well, how would you do something where if you want kids to be able to participate in protesting, if the parents don't care, how would you do something like that? Because you should keep them out of the street. You don't want kids running in the street. You don't want kids who are being put in harm's way. And I thought, well, that's a really fair way to do that. So the ICE officers were telling other people who are some of the journalists to go over behind the fence. And I thought, why is that so hard for them to go over behind the fence? They can go over there with the kids to go behind the fence. It's like, if you're going to protest, just go over there to that place, or go back further somewhere else. Because if the ICE officer is telling you that maybe that zone is not the best for you to be in, just go someplace else. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like, okay, if you go over to the war zone in Iran right now, which the United States government is telling people about nations to not go to, but yet you're going to go anyway? Are you that dumb? I mean, that's a reason for us to say, are you that dumb? So you're on a Darwin mission. You're on a Darwin mission to get yourself out of the creation of life anymore. You no longer want to exist on the planet Earth because you have a mission to self-eliminate yourself for some reason. I'm not sure why. And that's the same thing I think about with the demonstrations related to what the government is doing with their own civil disobedience that's taking place, such as ICE and the demonstrations by the National Guard and things. If they are psyops, I'm not sure if they are. I'm not convinced that they are, and that people aren't really doing things. I'm not completely convinced that they're all psyops and that they're what would I call it? That they're fake, or what they call a false flag. I'm not completely convinced that they're a false flag event. But there's a lot of people who will call us conspiracy theorists for saying that they're a false flag event. You know, where the government might say, okay, it was a demonstration of, what was that in Pennsylvania? Not Penn State. What was that thing that there was a college. Now, when I went to college, my teacher literally had told me, she said she attended the college where they had the protesting, and the National Guard was involved. So you can't call that a false flag event. Now, legacy media tends to change the names of things, and I noticed that yesterday because there was this lady on TikTok. I talked to her before, and she was saying she was a captain in the United States military, and she was saying there are certain things that she couldn't talk about. And I said, well, what are you doing on TikTok? I thought the government banned people from TikTok. And she's like, well, no, I'm on TikTok, and they said we could be on TikTok. And I said, oh, okay. But then she's crying, and she's saying she's a captain in the military, and that she's really, really scared because of the DEF CON, the red DEF CON or whatever it is that they have. There's a DEF CON thing that's going on. And so she thought that there was going to be some kind of really bad event. And so she was scared. But she said she had to be reading some headlines or something. And And I told her, I said, well, you know, there's 2 other times that we've been at this level. She said that it's the first time that we'd ever been at this level, which that's not true, because we were at this level during Operation Desert Storm. So I told her, I said, well, you know, I said, we're just going to have to think we can get through this too, just like we did with Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield, and the Cuban Missile Crisis, because both of those times were at the same DEFCON level. I don't know that it made her feel any better or not, but, you know, so I know there was nothing really I could do about it. I mean, she was looking at some other things on the internet, and then I told her, I said, well, can you shut the internet off? Just get off the internet. And she's like, well, no, I have to read these headlines. And I'm like, really? You have to read the headlines? And she said, yes, because she's a military intelligence officer. She said she had to read the headlines. And so I'd heard these people before, but then they mentioned something about Disney along the way, so it had me wondering if they had something to do with Disney. So I don't know. I have no idea. But it just had me thinking that they might have had something to do with Disney because of the fact that they kept mentioning Disney from time to time. And so I started thinking, well, maybe it's one of those acting things that they're running off some, whatever it is they run off. And oh no, I did this wrong. Ding dong is probably right. Okay, so yeah, I did this wrong. I did this one wrong. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do that one wrong. Okay, I'm going to have to start over. I've got 2 of them here. I thought I was at my corner. That's why I did it like that. I thought I was at the corner. But no, I'm not at the corner. Okay, so I need to... No wonder I couldn't get that one to match up right with the numbers. Okay, so wait. 1, 2... 2... 3... Okay. But it does become overload. All of this, it does. You know, the things that's going on right now, it just becomes a whole bunch of overload. And it's like, well, I want to solve problems. I'm the one who wants to solve problems for people. You know, I want prices to come down. So I know one of the things for me during COVID was they had that PPP money, and that went to business. That didn't help me. The PPP money did not help me one bit. Didn't help me at all. And so people are always talking about, oh, well, there should be help for you for this and help for you for that. And it's like, well, until we think of domestic violence and women caught up in marriages as a whole, if we start thinking of domestic violence and lumping it together, now the problem with the internet is they want to say, oh, you know, they want to marginalize domestic violence because I'm not sure why. That and homelessness. They want to marginalize both of those and just say, oh, well, there's stuff that help, you know, we've got a website here that shows that we're helping homeless people. Well, what they've done is figured out a way to help their own people. They don't want to help anybody else. So there's a certain amount of people that they'll help, but they won't help everybody who needs help. It's limited help. If even that, if it's not money laundering that they're doing. And so there's only a limited amount of help under the way they're doing things, you know, so it's like they'll point you to a website, say that help exists for homeless people when it doesn't. You get there and you realize they're not helping anybody, but they're only helping themselves. And so then it just becomes a source of frustration talking to them because they're like, oh yeah, this help exists. Well, they're sitting on there. They're an activism group, and they're literally they're just reusing the clickbait words over and over again. So with protesting, then having the ICE and the protesting, well, apparently there must be money in ICE and protesting because that's what's taking place is ICE and protesting. You know, because they're utilizing some money that's, who knows how much money has been put into ICE and protesting for these groups that are currently doing it. Millions of dollars, maybe. I mean, someone has to pay for them to stay someplace. Clearly, that's what I'm thinking. They have to pay for them to stay in a hotel, wherever it is they're protesting, all this stuff in Minnesota. And, you know, and that's something that people have been talking about, is paid protesters. People who are paid to protest. Now, if you're paid to protest, you're paid to be an activist of something, aren't you? So that means the people they're bringing into the United States, paid protesters being brought from foreign nations, right? I'd have to agree with myself on this one. One, two, and three. Okay, so we're going around here. But I think everybody should call into question all these churches who have things on their websites that talk about helping the homeless, which maybe they are. So when someone says, oh, well, ask this church, they got a thing on their website that says they help homeless people, but yet we don't know who the homeless people are they're helping. And I think that's what that's about. I do. I really think that's what that's about. Because it's like, well, who are the church people actually helping? No one. The only other thing it could be is money laundering. I mean, so if you're not helping the broad public, who are you helping? What's going on? What exactly is going on? You know, that's what I'd like to know. So we're continuing on here, working on our square. Yes, it's a granny square. It's also the Bavarian Box Stitch. 2 and 3. I don't remember. I think this might have been one of them. I had just gotten over 1 million views. I know there was quite a few of them. I had, how many videos did I have that had over 1 million? I think I had maybe 20 or 25 that had over 1 million views. Now, I told someone recently, I told them that I had like 225 million views on my total channel, on my original one. They're like, oh, I don't believe you. It's like, okay, well, so there's just this element of people who are like, I don't believe you. I don't believe. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to talk to you then. I really don't want to talk to you. I don't want to listen to you. And, you know, so. So there's a lot of hostilities towards people who are United States citizens right now, too. You know, so they just assume that everybody on the internet is artificial intelligence for some reason. And they still do. It just gets worse, it seems like. And, I mean, I'm positive artificial intelligence can't do this. They'd have to keep playing a video. That's what they would have to do, is just keep playing a video. Like, that's what they do in their studios. Is so they have software that's set up to coincide with the YouTube desktop. But I prefer using mobile because that's the future. Mobile is the future. And that's what we've been saying, that mobile is the future. And that's why I ended up at one point, maybe about 10 years ago or so, I got a mobile phone. And I just started recording with it. I didn't have service. I just started using it to record with because I thought, well, it's the future. I'm going to use the phones and I'm going to look at the updates. I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to watch the phone really, really closely, see what's going on with the phone. And I'm just going to hook up to some Wi-Fi. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I did. And I still do. Is hook up to Wi-Fi. I do have a phone service, but it's not very good. I have limited... I think I have a limited data plan. So, okay, so we're working the back post double crochet, triple crochet is what we're working, back post. 3. Now I'm going around the single crochet down here like that, and then 1, I was listening to this lady, what was it that, I don't think she was, her and her husband were, I wrote something on them. They said they wanted people to come up, and I tried to request, but they didn't. There was me and one other person. Me and one other person were trying to request to get up there. And so when I see there's more than one person and they haven't let anybody up, then I know something else is going on. But see, what was happening is they were saying, they were like, well, look at all these people moving through here. They had like 3, they're like, I bet they're all robots. That's got to be what it is. It's all robots that are moving through. And so I requested to get up. They wouldn't let me up. But I did write a comment in the comment section. So what happens is they tend, they might recognize you once, and then they tend to just completely ignore you. And so they're focused more on their own people who are part of their network. And I don't know how they know who's part of their network, but it just seems to be that way, that they know who's part of their network. And so that's who they talk. That's just who they talk to. I don't know if they, they probably identify, I bet, through their TikTok messaging. Yeah, that's got to be it. Using the TikTok messaging so they can shoot each other an email or a message, and they're like, I'm on my way to your live stream, because that's how they schedule things on YouTube as well. They schedule, I've seen them doing that. And they schedule, they'll say, oh, well, so-and-so is on right now. And then I'm going to be done doing what I'm doing. And then so-and-so, the other person, so-and-so, is going to be live streaming soon when I'm done. So that's what they'll say. That's how they're doing it. And then that's how they're inflating. They're spreading it across, so it's kind of evenly keeled across multiple channels, and then they're just focusing on their own network of people. Some of it, I think, is coming out of the children's authorship book program too. That's what I kind of think. I think it's coming out of the children's book authorship program. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let me do one more round. I'm going to do one more round, and then I'm going to be done with this square. So that's what I'm seeing, is the children's book authorship publishing. I think that's what it is. I'm pretty positive I think because they're involved with the bankers too. And they stick strictly to their own people. That's how Hollywood did things too. They don't want to participate with people, so they want to completely avoid people who are not signed up to be a part of their academies and their networks. They don't want to incentivize or give money to anybody who won't include them as a business. So that's kind of like saying, okay, so if we remember, Some of the banks in the United States have gotten in trouble for this practice from the federal government in the past. So the government will say, well, how many employees, like the one who opened fake accounts in the name of their customers. And they did. They opened fake accounts in the names of their customers. And so the federal government will finally ask them about the accounts and things and all the people they have on their payroll that are not really on their payroll. And I've noticed that's a common thing to come out of banks that are legitimate banks doing it. 6. Is this a 6 or a 9? I think this is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so what the banks and the book authorship clubs could be doing is literally saying, see, they tend to call all of this, so for example, if you have someone who is paid in the paid gig economy to if they're holding a crochet hook just like this in a scene, and they pay them $25 to hold the hook like this for 5 minutes, then that can be their gig job for the day. They were a crochet hook holder. That was their job. That's how they rationalize it. This is a job for someone just holding a crochet hook, according to the sovereign citizenship movement, the sovereign citizenship movement that comes out of banking and the foreign nations. This would be a job, just holding a crochet hook. Can you imagine if someone just had to hold a crochet hook all day long for 12 hours on a live stream? They would probably get bored pretty fast if they had to do this all day long. That would be terrible. So your job today is holding a crochet hook. You just have to hold it all day long in the video. That's all you're going to do. And you might say the word, I'm crocheting, which we know you're not. You're not really crocheting. You're just holding a crochet hook. But however, holding, so you could say, I'm holding a crochet hook. I'm holding a crochet hook. That ties in with holdings. So for example, airlines have a hold or a layover sometimes. And the banks, the brokerage companies have holdings companies. So you talk about the holdings of a trust estate planning, the holdings. It's a holdings of some sort, it's the same principle. But they like to mince words. That's what they do. So through plausible deniability, they like to mince words around for the purposes of confusing people, creating plausible deniability, then to say, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't know any better. Even though we know that you've had 6 companies before, and all 6 of your companies have failed because you're a lousy business person for some reason, and you like frauding people. You like creating businesses that fraud people, which I mean, do we say anything about that about Bitcoin or Sam Bankman? I guess now in the future people have to be concerned about Sam Bankman potentially having money and doing the same thing again. And, once he gets out of prison. And now he was a kid though, even too, which was kind of interesting. And even the ones from India, now they have said that there's a lot of fraud that comes out of India. The United States government has already said that. And so India is on the internet saying, "Oh no, we're not fraudsters. We're not fraudsters. They won't go as far as saying, they just say they just will say that if they're visiting the United States, they call themselves residents of where they're visiting. And so they do. Someone has coached them really, really well and told them that they are a resident of where they're visiting. And that's where a lot of that stuff comes from, that you're living someplace. So for me, I never considered myself a resident of Germany ever. I never did. I considered myself a guest of Germany. We were told that they were a host nation, and I was a guest in Germany, and we were to do everything we could do, the best that we could, to, you know, be good, like we always were good in our own country. It's like I never wanted to get in any trouble doing anything, and I never had problems with being in Germany ever. So, but there was soldiers who did get in trouble in Germany, and I don't know if they went to the brink and if they went to the Polizei. Some people, they told some of the soldiers, they were funny. What they said was, they're like, "Oh, well, so and so got in trouble by the Polizei, and they just kept him, and the United States government couldn't even get him back." This is the kind of stories they would tell us, which they're possibly they were making it up, or they eventually got the person back because Germany and the United States have good relations with each other, and Germany didn't really want to keep this person as a hostage. It's going to cost them money to take care of this person who's an American citizen. It wouldn't look very good, if it came up somewhere on some asset recovery. Let's call it asset recovery, because the government, sometimes they do an asset recovery and they try to find things. And so maybe there's a soldier somewhere who is in a brink over in Germany or France or Italy, the Swiss Alps. They forgot about him in Austria. Does Austria even exist anymore? I don't know. They forgot about them over in the Middle East. They're in a brink somewhere, and they've been living with a harem of women who have been taking care of this man so graciously. And so this American man has got his 40 virgins over there while he's alive. This United States American soldier is living over in the Middle East with 40 virgins. He's a happy camper that they forgot about him, because he's got all these women, all these wives, and he's starting a whole new nation by himself because he can. So he's kind of like an asset recovery. Let's call it a Social Security recovery of a soldier they just forgot over in the Middle East, in the brink somewhere in the middle of the desert. And now, he was like maybe 23 years old or so when they forgot about him in the brink. He was sort of unhappy until he came across all these women who needed a man, and he was the one. He was the chosen man to collect all these women over in the Middle East for a harem. And so he started his own harem. He's starting his own nation. He knows he's an American citizen. He knows darn well he's an American citizen. But now he's over there, and he's saying, "No, I'm not American." He's speaking Arabic because he knows Arabic really, really good. And he doesn't want to come back to the United States because he's got his 40 virgins. Even though they've all had babies, he still calls them virgins. They all have kids, and so he's got his new compound over there in the Middle East. He's a happy little camper because these women are serving him. They're carrying these women. He's got them carrying him around on one of those wicker chairs. The women are doing this now, and he's got the women fanning him with fans, and they're dressed up in silky robes, and he's just a happy camper, and he's pretending to be an Arabic person now because he's got all his women. He's got his 40 virgins and some land, and he got the virgins while he's alive. All of them were virgins till he got all of them pregnant. Now they're all his kids. He's probably got like what I would say the man in starting his new nation, he's got this American man over in the Middle East. By now he's got probably 2,500 kids. They're all his. All of them are his. Now he's not thinking about that because they got plenty of food over there now. We see it on the Google Maps, because on Google Maps it shows that there's a region over there where there's lots and lots of green stuff. Now, they figured out how to grow green stuff over there in the sand. So this American man, he's got 2,500 kids that are all his own. And I don't know, I don't think he thought about, though, how they're all going to have kids, because they're literally going to be um, getting involved with their own siblings. That's what's going to happen. But he didn't think about that when he started his new country. I don't know what it's called, but it's an American guy over there. He's from the United States. Well, he's American. Let's just say he's American. He might be from the Northern American or the Southern American. I'm not sure which American he's from. The Northern Hemisphere American or the Southern Hemisphere American. It's one of the two. I mean, because we have a big source of contention and disagreement on what America is right now and what the Americas are. Because someone wants a president of America. So now we have that to worry about. Now, this man over in the Middle East, who I don't know if he's a North American or a South American of some sort, but he's probably a soldier. Well, we know he's a soldier from the United States, but he's just over there. He's a happy little camper because of the fact he's got his 40 virgins and now he's got 2,500 kids. He's got 2,500 kids. So he's got a good start on his new country. I don't know what his country's going to be named yet. Maybe Fuckistan. That sounds like something one of those soldiers would use. His new country is called Fuckistan. And he's got 2,500 kids to feed. And now he can't breed his kids together because of the fact that they're all his. And so his kids would literally be making other kids with their own siblings because he didn't get any other. He was greedy with the women. With his 40 virgins, he was greedy with the women. He wouldn't share the women with other men. He was greedy. And now he can't, because his kids might end up having birth defects or something because they've all got the same DNA. They all got the same dad. And he was greedy with his virgins. He wouldn't share them. And so now he's got a bunch of kids that are being born and they're passing away because they got a bunch of birth defects and things because they're coming. The gene pool is too diluted with his genes is what's happening right now. He doesn't realize it. He's just got his 40 virgins. That's all he cares about. He's still calling them virgins, even though they've all had like hundreds and hundreds of babies by now. I mean, one of his virgins had like 150 babies. I don't know how she pulled that off, but she did. They've managed to get to save the babies through half pregnancies. They get them through halfway and they get them pregnant again, and they can, just like the sheep do up there in Canada. So they've got the Sandy Brock and her sheep farmers up there, and she's breeding them like 4 times a year. So they have 4 cycles throughout the year of sheep that they're breeding. And so, yeah. I think I've heard him say that before and call it Fuckistan. Oh, goodness. And that's how it works, too. This guy, he's from the United States, but he says, I got my 40 virgins over here in the Middle East. Now, these other nincompoops think that they have to go to their glory to get the virgins, but he's learned that he's going to get his virgins while he's alive. And he's going to get it over in the Middle East, too. Is that one of the dumbest stories that you've ever heard? I know for me it is. I think that's one of the dumbest stories I've ever told. But it's actually kind of funny and true, though, at the same time. Because that's what's described in the Bible. That's exactly what's, when I hear the Bible, that's what I think about. That's what I hear them talking about, is what I just said. And now it's not, now they're going to start blaming men from the United States for doing it too. That's what I think is going to happen. They're going to start blaming men from the United States. And it's not them doing it. But they're going to blame them, I bet. When they're the ones doing it, they're going to say, oh, it was some soldier who came over here and started a new country. That's what's going to happen. Oh, oh goodness. Okay, let's see here. I'm almost done. Now that didn't work out very well for Warren Jeffs, though. You can't pull that off very well in the United States, but you can over in another country. That's for sure. That's number 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. And 9. Okay, we got 9 done here. And single crochet, and now we're working on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, just like that. And single crochet. Okay, so I need to set this down here. I got one more to do. Oh, that looks really, really good. Looks really good. Really, really, I still got it. I still got it. That's for sure. Okay. Okay, so I got one more here to do, and then we're done. Oopsie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we will work a slip stitch here to join, and then we are done. So this one, it looks, how big is it? It looks like it's about, okay, this is how long my crochet hook is. So you can see the crochet hook is about 6-7 inches long. So this is square is probably 8 to 9 inches long. I would say it's about 8 to 9 inches long. That's really pretty. I like that. I'm glad I can still do it. Let's see the back side. See, the back side is more blended. Still works. But the front side has this pretty design on it. So we have this pretty raised embossed effect on the front there. Do you see that? So if I use different colors, we'd be able to see it quite a bit better. So it creates this little boxy with the front post. There, that's a good angle right here. So the stitches are pushed up because we made the raised effect there. And so it is a box. See, it does create a box. You see how it's pushed up there? We put it at the angle. There we go. So let's see if we can push this up a little bit higher. Get a full view there. That looks pretty good. It's a diamond view and square view. And I think that's it. And thanks for watching.